There's a lot on my mind. I had a lot planned for this podcast. And, I wanted to get back into talking about lifting and health and wellness and fitness and all those angles. But, some things just, they take precedence over certain things. And this is always something that just really gets at me and makes me angry and infuriates me. And I'm tired of it. I'm really tired of stuff like this happening. I'm tired of what needs to be a simple arrest ending up in a worldwide viewed murder. And it's not just these protests. This is where people get it wrong. This protest, it may have started because of George Floyd, but it keeps going because of all the previous people that this kind of thing has happened to. I understand why people are burning places down. I understand why you're breaking things. I understand why you're committing violence. I get it. Because not just black people, but everyone that has tried to join in on the movement, right? They've tried the peaceful protesting. They've tried it. You look at Colin Kaepernick, man. All he was doing was first he started sitting down during the national anthem, okay? A veteran comes to him and they talk about what's a more respectful way to protest, right? He tells Colin to try kneeling because that's a sign of showing respect. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I don't think a majority, especially white people, a majority of white people and others, but majority of white people didn't understand it. They don't get it. They don't get that they're not protesting the national anthem, dude. They're protesting the abuse that they receive over and over and over from people that are in law enforcement. People that are supposed to protect us. They're murdering black men. They're causing violence to black people in general. Which you see different stories where the same person or so say like this white guy came out and said he was committing the same crime as George Floyd. But he ended up going to court and all that kind of stuff. George Floyd didn't get that. You know what I mean? And that's the kind of thing, that's the difference. Why are we in 2020 and this is still happening? That doesn't make sense to me. What makes sense is the thought of the power that a lot of police officers feel. They know they have that power. You know what I mean? And with that, they feel like they can do anything. Which needs to stop now. It needs to stop, man. What's the Pledge of Allegiance, right? The flag, the American flag. What does it say in there, right? For liberty and justice for all, right? You might as well change it to for liberty and justice for white people because it's not all. It's not all. So black people could protest the flag, right? But they don't. They're not protesting the flag. They're protesting police violence. They're protesting that their life matters. And we get it. We get it. All lives matter. Yes, we get it. Understood, man. We get it. All lives matter. Your life matters too. But guess what? You're not worrying about yourself when you're walking down the street and a cop goes by you. You actually feel protected. Right? You're not sitting there worrying, okay, I got to make sure I'm doing everything right so I'm not getting pulled over because, you don't know what's going to happen. Just because of the color of their skin. I can't imagine how, black people feel. And you can't pretend that you do. Even if you grew up in the same neighborhood as them, even if you grew up, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I hung out with predominantly black kids when I was growing up. But yet, I didn't have the same fears of law enforcement as they did. You know what I mean? I wasn't scared to do certain things. Because I never feared that. We had different lives, even though we came from the same neighborhood. We had different things to worry about. And sometimes it's not as easy as just obeying the law. And that's another thing that white people throw out. Oh, if you would just obey the law, blah, blah, blah. Nah, man. A black person could be walking down the street, man. And you have no idea what kind of cop is driving that car, what they're thinking that day. Could change their life forever. And right now is when we need to put a stop to it. This has been happening for too long. Yes, they need to stop the looting and stop the setting fire to things. They need to stop being reckless. I don't agree with that at all. But I understand it. Because peaceful protest hasn't been working. They tried it with the NFL. They tried it. They tried it with kneeling for the national anthem, and everyone else said, no, you're not doing that. That's disrespectful. Oh, but it's not disrespectful that we don't treat other races respectfully? That's not disrespectful? No one likes protest. I understand that. No one likes it, but it needs to be done. It needs to be done. And now, when it's finally done, and you're calling for it to be peaceful, when they've already tried that. People have already tried peaceful protest, but once it gets violent, because they are so angry that what else are you going to do? How else are you going to get someone to listen to you? What else do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to go to Congress and try and stand up for themselves and, get a law passed or something like that? They can try, but guess what? You got another white racist bigot dude probably sitting up there that's going to make that decision. So where does that get you? Back to square one. So when you get so angry and so pissed off and so irritated and so over it, what do you turn to? Violence. That's what's going to make people listen. And that's why they're doing what they're doing. So no, I don't agree with it. I agree with the peaceful protests, that people are doing, walking in the street and, holding up signs and all that stuff. I agree with that. Okay. I don't agree with breaking and entering and tearing people's businesses apart. We had just, in Delaware, we had just opened. And now you got people saying like, oh, we just made it. We got small businesses. Oh, we had just enough money to like get through this COVID thing. And now we can open our business. But the day they can open their business, what happens? It gets burnt to the ground. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing, man. But I just wanted to get my thoughts out there, and you can disagree with them. Doesn't matter to me. But that's how I feel. It's just as people, we got to have a better understanding of what other people deal with. We have to do better and come together. I think ultimately at the end that we'll have a stronger bond. I don't know how much the police brutality will stop, but it's I just hope it's going to go in the right direction. I understand they have a hard job, but when a guy's already arrested, is it necessary to keep your knee on his neck? I know that's what you're taught, but he's on the ground, already arrested. What are you going to do? So my hope is and my prayer is that, it just never, this thing just stops. This thing stops, man. And I'm really hoping we can move forward as people and grow and do better and not just have all these setbacks. I just wanted to get that out there. I wanted to let y'all know that, I feel the same. I feel exactly the same. It's upsetting to me. It angers me that this stuff happens. All because of the color of your skin, man. It's old. We're in 2020. Let's wake up. It pisses me off and gets me worked up, so. Thank y'all for listening to that. And welcome to the Strong Tower Podcast. Start the show. It's my foundation. It's my faith. It's my work ethic. It's my drive. It's everything that I've tried to build for myself that has made me who I am. I'll do what it takes to make you believe. I'm here to celebrate a little bit. After all the negativity that's going on and everything, I'm proud to say, I just figured it out myself. I didn't even know I've been doing this for over a year. Yeah, I missed a couple. I think a couple I was sick, and then a couple we were on vacation. So, but I've been doing this for a year, man. A year of podcasting. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that, I got my first year under my belt. And I love doing this. And I love growing. I love learning more about it. And I love talking to people and learning things about them. Starting out, I wasn't a very, sociable, talker. You know what I mean? I wasn't a big talker. Someone's told me before that I only talk when I have something to say. Which isn't a bad thing. I don't just run my mouth to hear my own voice, But podcasting has really taught me how to keep a conversation going And see, the thing is, I've always been interested in what people do and why they do it and what drives them to do it. What's their motivation? That's something that's always driven me. So I have a whole list of people I would like to thank for, being a part of the Strong Tower podcast and, sharing your stories and sharing more about yourself than, maybe you didn't want people to know, or, I don't know. But I just thank you, I thank y'all for listening, and I thank you all for coming on the show, and I thank y'all for just being a part of it. So we got my cousin Madeline Bingham, and then you got Alyssa Welsh, Ben Steele, my cousin Will, thanks brother, Ariel, and then Nick Golden. I want to pause right there because Nick is probably one of the guys, man, that shared the most with me. I knew a lot about him already, but I didn't know the majority of what he came out with. And it really shocked me that he was, and I told him before, I said, hey man, there's anything you don't want to talk about, let me know. He said, man, I'm an open book. So he was free to share everything that he wanted to share, and talking to him was very eye-opening. It was very, I don't know, it was very touching that he would share all that, just hoping that someone would listen to it and change their mind about drugs, or, go get help for something that they deal with. And, he dealt with a lot. He dealt with a super lot. But he still had his humor. He still had his silliness. He still had a way to put a smile on someone's face, And it just really saddened me to hear the very next week. So actually before the podcast, me and Nick, man, we talked for like an hour before the podcast. Then we did a podcast for an hour. And then after the podcast, we talked for like an hour. So I got to hear a lot of things that, he didn't really get out during the podcast. And before he left, I just remember saying, hey man, I looked him in the eye, shook his hand, said, hey man, I just want you to take care of yourself. He was like, hey man, I got you. And it just saddens me, like, the very next weekend, I heard he passed away. I just really hope that, someone, maybe at least one person, has changed their life because of Nick. Because of what he was talking about with you, or maybe on the podcast, or, some kind of conversation that you had with him. I just hope that it reached somebody. But I just want to, just sit in a moment of silence, man, and just remember Nick. Thank y'all. And then we move on. We had Leslie Bradford, one of my good friends from high school. We had Mike and Alex Kaczynski. who like I really appreciate because I know they don't do this kind of thing. So I really appreciate them coming on. They're expecting a kid, and I'm so happy for them. It was so cool of them to like help me out and just be able to get to know different sides of them and stuff like that. Rebecca the Draft Evans we had, and we had my boy Josh Henson, Jerome Lewis, Jeff Sowden, Carlos Thomas, my brother John Hamrick. We had him a couple times. Then we had my wife Heather Hamrick. Then we had Megan Quinn. I thank you, Megan, for doing this and being a part of it. And we had my dad, Aaron Hamrick. Let's see, who else? My boy Mark Griffin. Helped me out, came to do it for me. And Chrissy Zezut. Thank you, Chrissy. And my boy Sami, DJ Swanky. Go check him out on social media. My boy David Wilson. I talked to him being in quarantine in Pennsylvania. He was from Orlando. I think he moved now. But he was in Pennsylvania the whole time stranded. And my girl Sasha. Got to talk to her in quarantine and see how she was doing. My cousin Sierra from West Virginia. Got to talk to her and listen to her thoughts about the coronavirus and different things like that. And then the most recent one, my Aunt Annette, who lives in Georgia. And that brings us to now. It's been a long road, man. It's been fun. I started this last summer or last spring. And it's just been a cool experience for me. And I love doing it. I'm not stopping. It might sound like that, but I'm going to keep going. It's just cool to like celebrate like a year, So let's get into some workout stuff, man. Like, I haven't talked about lifting or working out or anything like that on here since I first started doing a podcast. So a little about me with the whole health and fitness thing. Let me see. Where should I start? So I went to school for it. Ended up with my NSCA certification and a certification from Dawn Career Institute for personal training. And then from there, what else did I get? NASM certification. I got a sports nutrition certification, and then also ACE. So there's a lot of certifications involved. So not only do I have experience with my own body and my own self, I also have the letters behind my name to back it up. I was a trainer at Anytime Fitness and Retro Fitness. I did that for a long time and got to be better at that. Why don't I train now is because I kind of fell out of love for it. Oh, sorry, my allergies, man. But yeah, I kind of fell out of love for it. I've talked about that a couple times to a couple different people. But if you're wondering why, so why did I fall out of love for it? I think it was just because of how much effort I put in and I wasn't getting the same effort back. So the person that actually wanted to lose weight or gain muscle or do something different with their fitness goals wasn't putting in the same work. You know, I was wanting it 100% more than them. So I was doing the best I possibly could with them, and to the point where I was texting people almost every day, making sure they were doing what they need to do. And for some people, they just weren't getting it done. They weren't even trying. I don't know if it was too hard. I don't know if it was they were lazy, because I don't take your schedule as an excuse. I don't. Everyone has the same 24 hours. You make time for it. You want it bad enough, you'll make time for it. So I never took that excuse. I never accepted that. Your excuse is either you don't want it, or you're lazy, or it's too hard. Maybe you thought hiring a trainer would make it easier, which it should. It really should. I mean, I had it all written out right there. Everything. Working out, your workout plan, your meal plan, everything, dude. So, and that just built up over time. Year after year after year, I just got more tired of it. I stopped working at gyms. I got tired of working at gyms because of the way they were run. I hated the owners. I think most of the time they were disrespectful to the members, and I couldn't stand working for them. So I went out on my own and started my own business, and I had clients with that, and those clients did the same thing. So I had a lot of back and forth with myself. I was like, is it the client or is it me? I would read online that other trainers would say, oh, it's your fault, your client's not doing well. So there was times where I agreed with that. But then I would look back and be like, dude, I'm doing everything. I'm literally trying to keep them accountable while doing everything for them. I have a spoon and I'm giving it to them to eat. Like, what else do you want me to do? I didn't know what else I could do. I was doing literally everything I possibly could. And the people just weren't, all they had to do was put in the work, and they just weren't doing it. And I was just tired of doing that. I was tired of spoon feeding people, and I was just like, I just don't like this anymore. People would ask me to train them. And after that, I was turning down people left and right because I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust that you'll be able to do it. People need, if I was to train someone, I'll have to be there every single workout to make sure you did it. And for you, that's expensive. And for me, that's time limiting for me, unless I worked it into my schedule. And I couldn't do that for everyone, right? If I have other stuff going on for me, I couldn't have a full day's worth of people trying to be there for every single workout. And obviously, the client wouldn't want to pay for that because that gets expensive. So yeah, I fell out of love with it. And I found out I love the business part of it, though. I used to work at a supplement shop, and I loved doing that. So now I'm in the process of building my own brand. Today's podcast is brought to you by stnutrition.com. So Strong Tower Nutrition is the brand. We are a retail supplement store. Right now, everything's online. We carry brands from Run Everything Labs and Bomar Nutrition, and we only carry what we believe are the best supplements that will provide you the wants and the needs that you have, and just give you everything that you're looking for. Everything that we carry is specifically tested by us. I've used everything that we carry, and I stand by that, and I continue to do that. And I'm only going to carry stuff that I believe in. So if you go to stnutrition.com, and we still have a special sale for the podcast listeners. If you type in Rona, RONA, you get 10% off. So go to stnutrition.com. Check out these special brands, because we're going to have more coming to you. You know, it's June. It's nice out. It's time to get moving. You know, it's time to get out of your house and get going. And, you know, get back to your healthy lifestyle. You know, shed that quarantine 15. Do what you got to do. Up your immune system so you're not able to acquire this virus if it happens again in the fall. You know, do everything you got to do. stnutrition.com. Back to the show. But yeah, so that's a little about me and my training experience and my background. So there's a question asked of me. Let me see if I can find it. One second. Let me find this question. Okay. Since you are and have been in the nutrition and fitness scene, what are your true thoughts on marijuana? And do you think people can compete and partake in it and still be successful? Or do you think people can, just train and not be smokers, whatever? Okay. All right. So pretty much the question is about marijuana and fitness, okay? For me, I have no problem with it. There's different strands of marijuana, different strains, and different, you take a number of certain milligrams and all that kind of stuff, right? If you're doing it for fitness, you're not smoking like a person to get high would. So that's the difference. Marijuana has been found to help you recover. So that's why a lot of people in the NFL, even though they would get drug tested, one, they like smoking, and two, it helps them recover. And, when you have a certain limit of things to use for recovery, try weed. Try weed, try CBD, whatever. If you like having that little buzz or that THC in there, I have no problem with smoking marijuana. I mean, there are bodybuilders that do it because of their stress and anxiety of their regular life, and to be able to go and train the way they need to focus and calm down. And before CBD became a big thing, a lot of people were smoking weed. So really, I have no problem with it. You just got to know your limit, because you can't go and train high. You know what I mean? I think that would be a little too much. I don't know how that would turn out. But yeah, I mean, I really have, me personally, I have no problem with it. And I don't see why anyone would. The only thing is, I would just see a little bit of danger, training high. But if you could smoke marijuana to a point where you feel good and you feel calm and you feel focused and you're just ready to go, why not? Everyone's looking for an edge. Everyone's looking for something to make them better. Everyone's looking for something to help them recover faster. Why not? So that's my answer. Okay, since we've been home And everyone's been doing these workouts, which is weird. I've seen a lot of people that haven't worked out before, like start working out during the quarantine. I guess now because they have more time, um, they can focus on that. For me, I mean, as you can see in the background, I have a pretty much home gym. I have barbell. I got heavy weights. I don't have machines or anything, but I usually, um, I'm a member of Planet Fitness, like it or not. So I use the machines there if I need to use machines. But mostly, I'm lifting heavy. I'm using dumbbells and plates and barbell and stuff like that. I have a safety squat bar. I got what else I got? I got plyo box. I got a sissy squat little machine. Um, so home gym versus a regular gym. And I asked that on Instagram last week for a better workout at home or at a gym. And 56% people said at home. I can see that. I can see that. For me, I really love just being able to go to the basement and train. I can put my music on, the music that I want. I can put it on as loud as I want. I can grunt. I can scream. I can, breathe heavy, whatever I want to do. Uh, I understand other people don't have what I have, but I mean, you could do the same things. If you know enough to make shift like different things, you can do it. Body weight stuff, you have no idea how challenging body weight exercises can be. They can kill you. It's tough. So if you just focus on that kind of stuff and get good at that, why not? You do it for free in your own home. Sometimes there are distractions. I get distracted with like I think about uh like a certain idea I need for my business, and like maybe I should post something, and I have all these thoughts going through my head as I'm trying to lift, and I end up just going upstairs and working on the laptop and missing out on my workout. So sometimes that's bad. Or my wife asks me to do laundry and I got to do that while I'm down here. You know what I mean? Sometimes it becomes a thing. But, I think for most people, it's just convenience. It's less having to worry about other people and what they're doing, and it's less complaining, and you don't have to drive anywhere. You can just, do it in the comfort of your own home. I love it. I don't know about y'all, but I love it. So, oh, and I did ask people about smoking marijuana while training, specifically before training and after training. So, because it's all about recovery, right? Which would be the main reason. 67% said there's so many benefits to it. 33% didn't know that was a thing. So there's that. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. I think it was more of a thing before CBD, and then CBD came out, and then more people probably do that. But, if you still smoke weed and you still want to work out, I really don't see a negative side effect, but besides the fact that you don't want to be fully high while you're trying to work out. You know what I mean? I think that will not really help you too much. Unless you're a functioning person that's high all the time and you can do it, then so be it. But for someone that's never really, that doesn't smoke all the time and they want to use marijuana for it, I would just say, take a puff, pass it on, and do what you need to do. Be smart about it and do your research. So, Next question I asked was the benefits of a 45-degree leg press. That's always been through my mind, right? Don't get me wrong, like every time I go to the gym, I try and use it because I don't have one at my house, so obviously. But I think people mostly use it as an ego lift. You know, you thought bench press was an ego lift. I think more so the 45-degree leg press because people want to throw 45 plates on there and bend their knees and then that's it. So, and I don't think that gives you much of a workout. I don't think that does too much for your legs. Um, you know, I can do more with my legs with 3 plates than with 45. You know, the depth that you get, the focus and feel that you get within your glutes, within your hamstrings. You can focus on firing those muscles. You do them with one leg. You know, there's so many different things you can do when you slow things down, you focus on what you're doing. You can go heavy. I have no problem with that. The thing is, when you're loading up 56,000 plates and you're barely coming towards your chest when you unrack it, and then you're pretty much it's just a knee bend and you're putting back up. What is the benefit of that? For your ego. That's what it is. Oh, I can do this. No, you can't, because it doesn't count for me unless you come your knees to your chest, man. That's just my opinion. So again, if you disagree with any of these things, or if you agree and you want to let me know, like, what's up, you know, call the hotline at 302-313-6429. What else we got? I feel like I went through that really fast. And I thought there was something else I wanted to say. And I think that's it. I think that's all the lifting stuff I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to get too in depth. I didn't get too many questions. So if you want to know, you know, what I think, I mean, I'm not going to consider myself an expert. You know, I did, you know, I've only competed in 2 bodybuilding shows. I have like 4 certifications, I think. I don't even know how many I have. But it is what it is. If you want to ask a question, you know, call the hotline, hit me up on Instagram. If you have any questions, concerns, complaints, whatever, you know, let me know, interact with me, and we'll keep the Strong Tower podcast going.